Steve Phillips on the midweek hot stove. We were talking about the Padres, Steve, earlier in the show, and Matt said it. There's a star at every spot. We're learning Juan Soto moving over to left. Was that always the case? Because we saw that graphic earlier in the show. He hasn't played there since 2020. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you. And you know, interesting. I think that you know, the Padres making the decision after talking to Juan Soto. I think this is really important. Bob Melvin, a very good manager, players manager, listening to his guys. And Soto made it clear, ideally, he'd like to just play and lock in at one position. You know, the idea of whether it's going to be left field or right field, he'll adjust and practice and get ready to do all of that. But moving back and forth, moving in and out can disrupt the player, and it can disrupt them offensively. And so I think for him to be able to lock in on left field, they have been very hesitant to say anything about Tatis being solely a right fielder or a center fielder. But I think this is all about Juan Soto right now, doing the right thing for him, because the most important aspect of his game is his bat. And they want to make sure they get all of that, and comfort is an important factor.
Yeah, and Harold said it perfectly. If he wasn't comfortable, like you're talking about, none of this would be happening in the first place. We were watching video of Aaron Judge taking reps at first base, gave all Yankee fans pause. Is there anything to this, kind of revisiting his high school days?
Yeah, so it's funny. So Aaron Boone, you know, responded to somebody saying it means nothing.
Okay.
You know, here's the thing, is that I think everything means something. It may not mean anything to Aaron Boone. It may not be something he's thinking about, but if it means something to Aaron Judge, then it means something. And so, you know, whether he plays there or not, I don't know. I think there's added value if he adds the versatility to it. You never know what's going to happen during the course of the season. If something happens to Rizzo, they can move Judge in there. If they can get somebody at the trade deadline. So why not explore it a little bit? There's no real risk there. He has done it some of the past. And so I like the idea of him getting reps. He may not play a single inning there all year. And I know that from a manager's perspective, you don't want to start your spring with a major, oh my gosh, is Aaron Judge going to be a first baseman? But if it means something to Aaron Judge, it means something to me if I'm with the Yankees. And we'll keep in mind down the road whether it's a fit for their team at some point where there's a need.
Everything means something. Such a good point by you. Has yet to play a big league inning anywhere but the outfield. Former Yankee Joey Gallo signing a one-year deal with the Twins. I would imagine the upside is insane. What's the expectation in Minnesota?
Boy, this is such an intriguing signing because I just don't know what to expect. You know, he's a guy that seemed to lose his swing. He seemed to lose his approach when he went to the Yankees. Now, that's an easy thing to do because when the crowd gets on you, there's an emotional, mental reaction to it that often leads to a physical adjustment. You try too hard. You change your swing. You try to lift the ball. You try to hit out of the ballpark. And he acknowledges there were some physical changes to his swing. He certainly wasn't right with the way that he was thinking. I think it all starts with the way that you think. If he gets his mind right, gets back to locked in, look for that one pitch to be able to drive, then I think he can get his swing back. He spent a lot of time with the new hitting coach for the Minnesota Twins, who's a guy he played against in the minor leagues. And so comfort's going to be important. And I think the other factor is Minnesota's not New York, where if you fail or struggle, you don't get booed in Minnesota. They just don't cheer. And that is a completely different thing for a player to digest and to be able to handle. And so I have some hope that maybe he can bounce back there. It may not be the elite Joey Gallo we saw at one point, but I think he certainly can be better than he was last year.
The human element matters so much. Twins have had their eye on him for quite some time. Steve Phillips with the very latest. Appreciate the time.